Dom, thank you so much for sharing your insights on everything about babies and children and life here in Joburg. And she is joining us today from the wonderful Yummy Mummy store, which is on 4th Avenue in Parkhurst. So Dom, just tell us a bit about you and what inspired you. Why did you get into creating businesses in and around kind of children and babies?
Okay, that's easy to answer. I was a Bikram yoga teacher first when I moved to Joburg. So I only moved to Joburg about 4 or 5 years ago. No, it's actually more now, sorry. So about 6 years ago. And I actually lived 17 years outside of Joburg. So when I came, I've never lived in Joburg. So when I came to Joburg, I really felt like an expat. Trying to find my feet. And in the beginning, I taught yoga for a month and went back to New York for 3 months. No, the other way around. 3 months here, 1 month away. So I was never really grounded. When I decided to stay permanently, I realized that as a Bikram yoga teacher, there was a huge gap in the market for pregnancy yoga. Because once you became pregnant, it wasn't suggested, if you didn't have a regular practice, to continue in the hot yoga. So we were turning people away, and I didn't have anywhere to turn them because there was no pregnancy yoga. So I actually branched away, being newly married and wanting to, and expecting to fall pregnant immediately, and created, studied in New York a little bit and here a little bit to teach solely pregnancy yoga. And that's how my little studio, which was called Oven Bun Yoga, started. And then eventually I had too many people that I couldn't teach other yoga anymore, and I only taught pregnancy yoga. And then the beautiful thing about teaching pregnancy yoga, it's a very intimate practice with the moms who are preparing to have a baby, and then they're constantly talking about all the things they love, they're buying, they're getting. And so I had the opportunity to create a little boutique attached to my pregnancy yoga studio that only sold things that were used and recommended by the woman that had done pregnancy yoga prior to you now coming to do pregnancy yoga. Yummy Mummy approached me and said, let's bring your boutique out of your house. And Yummy Mummy owns half of the boutique, and I'm actually Yummy Baby. So Yummy Mummy and Yummy Baby, 2 separate businesses, one catering to the mom, one catering to the baby, opened in Parkhurst in 2013. We opened when I was 6 months pregnant with Griffin. And by the time we opened, there was no more time to teach yoga anymore because I was a full-time mom with a full-time, very successful baby shop. And we've continued that whole approach of adding to the shop purely on feedback from pregnant women and moms that come and visit us. So there's nothing in my shop that I would not use myself, or the newborn stuff that's coming in now is highly recommended from all the moms who come and visit my shop. So
I love that. I love that you have built your business almost like one step at a time, but always with the customer feedback shaping your next stage. I think so often we don't really do that market research, or we think we have a good idea and we go off and we create this amazing thing and it doesn't actually sell. Whereas what you've done is kind of flip that on its head and just started off really small, and organically it's just got bigger and bigger.
So, and how I do it now is I have an amazing shop manager who works Monday to Friday. I'm only managing from afar, and I pick Griffin up from school. I spend every day with him, and then I work every Saturday. So Saturday is our busiest day. So I've still really got my finger on the pulse. I'm still really talking to all the new moms that are coming into Joburg, coming into my area. But I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a non-working mom who's running a very successful business. I love spending time with him, and I've managed to create a business where I can be with him full-time, and then he gets to hang out with Dad on a Saturday, and they have a whole thing about Saturday is our day, what are we doing? And they get this real full-on one-on-one bonding time on Saturday, and I get to keep my business feeling like it's owner run.
Yeah, so you basically put a structure in place that works for you, your husband, your son, and your business, like all the parts fit into quite a strict weekly routine where everyone knows what they're doing, but everyone is still benefiting. Is that?
Yeah, that feels, and it feels like a fun life. My sales manager knows, my suppliers know, I can meet you anytime between 10 and 12. And actually before 10 is my time. So yoga, I go to switch classes, I do something physical that feeds me before 10. I can meet suppliers, I can be in the shop, I can meet clients for car seat installations between 10 and 12. And after 12, sometimes it's later if Griffin has extramurals, it's my time with him. Don't disturb me, don't call me. I can deal with you between 10 and 12. And then all the admin gets done once Griffin's asleep.
And so, Dawn, why did you choose Joburg? So you were in New York and you kind of were switching between the two. Why Joburg?
I never chose Joburg. Joburg chose my husband. So I was studying to be a Bikram yoga teacher, and I got a call from my then fiance, who is British. He has never lived in Joburg, but his parents immigrated back here. So he's South African, grew up in England.
Yeah.
When you talk to him, his whole point of reference is a British person. And he loves Johannesburg, loves South Africa with a passion of those are my roots kind of passion, which is actually really special to be part of, because so many South Africans don't realize how freaking amazing this country is, including myself.
Amazing. And so what would your advice be if someone's listening to this and they are an expat and they've just found out they're pregnant? What other support structures like here in Johannesburg?
So right now, when people approach me on a literally weekly basis for maternity, pregnancy classes, there's not much. And everyone says, when are you starting up again? Because the difference with mine was it was very, very targeted. So I didn't have other classes and pregnancy. So there's a few people around Joburg that do classes. The truth is there's not much for pregnant women. It's a huge gap in the market. Genesis Clinic has good resources. So we had Griffin at Genesis. They have a very good resource for that kind of community-based classes, workshops. They do little expos. And even if you're not planning to have your baby at Genesis, it's a working business, so I'm going to let a client in. There we go. Even if you're not planning on having your baby at Genesis, there's a lot of resource for community-based things through the clinic, because they are, so you're welcome to join the classes there, even if you're not having your baby there.
And then I think up north, there's a place called Bub Hub. That's also
but you see, not so much for maternity, lots for post baby, classes with your baby, stimulation classes.
So then once you've had your baby, what's going on in Joburg? What can people do?
So Clamber Club Babies is really nice. Not so much for the baby, but more for the mom. So they do a little bit of baby stimulation in the beginning, but then they do baby can free play, but you can chat to the other moms and have a cup of tea. So it's really for finding other moms in your area who also have tiny babies. I also recommend this amazing thing once your baby's a little older called Seedlings at Small World, because it's a really nice non-structured place to, it's the same school Griffin goes to, and if I can get any moms to go there just for community, I'm always recommending them from the shop, because I get lots of parents with babies coming into the shop, as you can see. So, and then that's the biggest tip, is that when you do meet a mom, don't be shy to say, even if you meet them in Woolworths, it's like, oh, your baby's about a month old, mine's about a month and a half. Hey, do you want to go get tea? Because that is, and Joburg's pretty open to that kind of thing. They really, don't feel shy to approach other moms.
I did that in the park, in Parkhurst Park. I'd be like, hi, do you want to go for coffee?
People are very open to that here. And I found that, the way I got to Seedlings, I went to Seedlings when Griffin was 6 weeks old. This is the stimulation group at Griffin School was because another mom just said to me, hey, let's just go there and chat. So Griffin wasn't actually even involved at that age, but another mom just said, let's go there and chat. And it was just all I needed. I was so happy. And, you know, another idea is just to say, do you want to meet with your pram and go for a walk? You know, because moms just want to get out. They want their baby to get some fresh air. So that's another, like, put yourself out there. Like you used to do when you want to get a date. It's like.
You feel safe walking?
In Parkhurst, yes. During the day, no problem at all. So there's certain little pockets in Johannesburg that you can do that. But Parkhurst is great because there are so many lovely restaurants. So even if you don't live in this area, come visit Yummy Baby, go for a cup of coffee, and then go for a walk around the block. It's just a nice way to get some, you know, get the blood flowing for you, will make you feel 10 times better. So it's not just about eating coffee and cake. Go for a walk as well. Come visit Yummy Baby. It's a really nice morning out, no matter where you live in Joburg.
Yeah, great tips, great advice. And so that leads us on to, what are your favorite things to do as a family, or to go exploring with Griffin, or what are Griffin's favorite places to go to in and around Joburg? Where do you go?
So we are a huge family adventure Sundays. So Sundays, we always do something as a family, and we will do anything. We will look up motocross, speed racer, drifting, anything wild and crazy that we could expose Griffin to, we are there. And we're usually there, and we look around and we do not recognize one person from our community because it's the most random place. But we love to do wild adventures. So we have found ourselves everywhere. We've been to some biker gang gathering because Griffin loves motorbikes. And what other bit? Oh, we went, and if you can do it now, raspberry picking. It's a half an hour down south. Just Google the Raspberry Festival. They're just doing, you arrive, you pay 30 Rand for a bucket, you pick as many raspberries as you can. It is the most fun activity that's going on at the moment. And you take your raspberries home and you make smoothies with them, and they were delicious, and we could eat them while we're picking them. So that was fun. But we literally find something so January was a very quiet month in Joburg, and we were like, we're always on Joburg Scout, things to do in the city with kids. And we'll go to anything. So what I do is I usually, when Griffin's trying to fall asleep and I'm sitting there, I will usually go on my phone, and then anything I see that could be interesting, I screenshot, and I will go through Vibe Scout. And when I do it, I actually don't Google for kids. I actually just say what's going on in Joburg, because it's amazing how we tend to keep the kids in jumping castles and face painting, and actually they are interested in all kinds of things. Like we took Griffin to a jazz festival once. He loved it. It had nothing to do with kids. Kids were allowed. But so we did it. We don't cap it at things to do with kids. Rather just like,
what's going on? You literally just Google what to do, or do you have go-to websites that you look at?
Vibe Scout we go to a lot. They tend to, it's really about finding the ones that are keeping up to date. Josie Kids, often we go to their events calendar and just look through there, but it tends to get to that point where they're just repeating the same things. So we really try and just, I'm trying to, on Facebook every now and again, there's a page called Kids in the City. I find every now and again a mom will do something fun and then post on there. And so I belong to that group, so if anything fun's going on there. I follow lots of my friends. Kimmy and Bear, they do a blog. Whatever they're into, they're always into the most fabulous things, like art exhibitions, and also a little bit not too typically face painting and jumping castles. Though I will say Melrose Arch jumping castles is one of Griffin's most favorite things to do in the whole entire world. And I usually do that when Charlie may have to go work on a Sunday and I have to do from 4 to 5, I just let him go and jump out all his sillies before dinner time. And that's a fun thing that we do whenever we're at a loss. We love going on our micro scooter in Emmarentia Park. That's a great favorite because they've got lots of little paved areas. So you can take the bike, you can take the scooter, and you can just let them go wild there. So
obviously owning a shop, you know a lot of incredible products and brands. Is there anything new people either should pack that you can't get here in South Africa, so to put in their shipment, but then also cool South African brands? So you mentioned Olief, they're also amazing. I always take them back as presents. But any other brands that we can introduce people to?
There's an amazing, I'll show you, can I show you around as I suggest? There's an amazing new little brand called Sprout, and they do look at this little Protea onesie. Such a nice gift to take back as well, back detail. Can you see it on the camera?
Yeah, beautiful.
And so they do the Protea. Oh my God, do you know what plant this is? The rooibos. This is the rooibos leaf. Isn't that the sweetest little... So this is one of my favorite, like if someone comes in and says, we're going back to it, there's Olief. We love organic. If somebody says, we're going back to visit, and our friend, cousin, sister's having a baby, a gorgeous little Protea or rooibos leaf little romper, vintage romper is one of my best suggestions. A community of women carvers who they are upskilling. So we do try in the shop to add all these. So they do this whole little range of wooden toys that are really, for me, who loves a little rock and roll business going on. This is Lullaby Rock. Look at this little hoodie. It's to die for. Also local. A little bit more rock and roll.
Love it.
Little romper. Yeah, so we do try. In fact, 90% of our clothing here at the shop is all South African brands. And then we do, you know, the Aiden and Anae, the Jellycats, all those brands you might miss if you're here.
A bit of a quick fire round where we just want to know, where are you currently getting your inspiration from?
Playing with Griffin. Do you know, it's amazing what kids can come up with. And he's in a radio school, so it's all about them creating the curriculum, and I actually use him to create my inspiration.
Favorite book at the moment, or a book that every child you think should own?
Richard Scarry. I can't get enough of it. We have every single one, and we can read them a million times, and sometimes we read them, and sometimes we make up stories about what's going on in the book, and I could spend hours doing that with him.
Thank you so much, Tom. This has been incredibly useful. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any other tips, or how can people find you?
So yummybaby.co.za. So our partner was Yummy Mummy. She recently moved to Cape Town, so she's now our biggest supplier in the shop, but I actually own the whole shop now. And as of pretty much 1st of March, which is today, we're actually rebranding to Yummy Baby and Kids. So we're going to grow it a little older. We're taking over the whole shop. So yeah, come and visit me at the shop. I'm always here on a Saturday. I love meeting new people. I love seeing people. So they're like, I know Hannah. So say, I know Hannah, and come visit me. And yeah, so that's how you find me. I'm always here on a Saturday.
And online?
Online.
Or social media?
Social media, I do a little Instagram called Neeks525. Last year, I did a picture every single day of my child's life, one picture. And the reason I did that is I wanted to just take one picture of the day and then put my phone away. It ended up being a little bit more work than I imagined, because I'm a bit of an A-type personality, so once I'd done 106 of 365, then I was in it for the long haul. So this year, that was last year. This year I'm doing one of 52. So every month I post what we've been up to that month. But it's a really fun Instagram page where you'll see the wildest, and it's a really lovely way to just capture moments with Griffin and I. So yeah, so that's Neeks525. And then we've also got Instagram, Yummy Baby SA. So Yummy Baby SA is our Instagram for the shop. And that's our best way to contact us on social media.
I'm also a lover of Instagram. So Amazing. Thanks, Dom. We will let you go and serve your customers.
Kind of serving them on the side here.
Yeah, it's perfect. You're being amazing. Thank you so much. And hopefully people will come and find you. I'm sure they will.
That'd be great.
Cool.
Thanks, Hannah. See you soon. Bye.